difference quotient. The difference quotient of a function is an expression that is simply a way to find the slope between 2 points. The points you're finding the slope for are the point x, f of x, and x plus h, f of x plus h. Recall that when you find the slope, you subtract the y coordinates on top. So taking the second y minus the first y, gives you the expression f of x plus h minus f of x, because this is the second y and this is my first y. The denominator requires that you subtract the x coordinates. So that would be the x plus h minus the x, but here the x's would subtract away, leaving you with just h in the denominator. This is the expression for the difference quotient. We will find the difference quotient by breaking it down into 3 steps. The first step is to find f of x plus h. That means we're going to plug in x plus h everywhere we see x in our original function. The second step is to subtract the original function from what we just found. We'll have a little bit of algebra to do there, and we'll have to simplify like terms. The last step will be to take that answer and divide by h. So let's take a problem and see how to do this. Let's start with the linear function f of x equals negative 4x plus 3. Our first step is to find f of x plus h. So that means we're going to plug in x plus h everywhere we see the x in our function. So we have negative 4 times x plus h plus 3. I now distribute the negative 4 to give me negative 4x minus 4h plus 3. The second step is to take that answer and subtract f of x from it. So that's going to give me negative 4x minus 4h plus 3. I don't change any of this, minus the original function, which in this case is negative 4x plus 3. Now be careful here. You want to be sure you use parentheses, because our subtraction will change the sign of that entire function. So we have negative 4x minus 4h plus 3, not changing any of this part, but then we change the signs on the f of x part, giving us plus 4x minus 3. At this point, we should be able to get rid of some terms. Negative 4x plus 4x is 0, and 3 minus 3 is 0. So we end up with just negative 4h. The last step will be to take negative 4h and divide it by h. The h's will cancel, leaving us with negative 4. Go back and look at what we started with. We started with a linear function. Y equals negative 4x plus 3. Remember, what we know about this linear function is that the slope should be negative 4. We said the difference quotient was just another way to calculate slope. So it shouldn't be surprising that we ended up with the answer of negative 4 for the difference quotient. Let's go through one more example. This time let's do a quadratic function. Our first step will be to find f of x plus h. That means, once again, we're going to put x plus h everywhere we see x in our original function. So we have x plus h squared plus 2 times x plus h minus 6. X plus h squared, we have to simplify. Remember that means x plus h times x plus h. And let me just write down the rest of my expression here. Then I can either do FOIL on x plus h times x plus h, or you may remember the formula for squaring a binomial. Either way, x plus h squared ends up x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Then I need to distribute the 2 to get plus 2x plus 2h, and then I still have the minus 6. That's my first step. There are not any like terms. There's not anything I can collect together. So I'm going to go on to my second step. The second step is where I take the answer I just found and subtract f of x from that. So let me write down all that stuff I just got. X squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 2x plus 2h minus 6 minus my function, x squared plus 2x minus 6. Once again, I want to be sure to put that in parentheses because that subtraction is going to change my signs. So let's see what I get here. I don't change any of this long stuff here at the beginning. So I'm just going to bring it down. But this will now become minus x squared minus 2x plus 6. So now I should be able to get rid of some terms. X squared minus x squared adds up to 0, so those go away. 2x minus 2x adds up to 0, and negative 6 plus 6 adds up to 0. So I end up here with simply 2xh plus h squared plus 2h. Now my third step is to take that answer, my 2xh plus h squared plus 2h, and divide it by h. You should end up with an h in each term. So you can divide each term individually by h, or you could factor the h out. But either way, you end up here with 2x plus h plus 2. And that is your difference quotient.